Alright, hey everyone, this is Ash. Welcome back to The King's Speech. So we're going to dive straight into it here with Akane-Banashi, Story 30, Before Being a Rakugoka, with story by Yuki Suenaga, art by Takamasa Moe, with Rakugo supervision by Keiki Hayashiya, translation by Stephen Paul, and lettering by Sneer Iran. So we pick up where we left off with Akane having a chat with Shiguma, and he goes, "So, where should we start?" And Akane goes, "Do you know why he expelled Dad from the school?" And he's like, "No. But I suppose it's a matter of how he judges Rakugo. He's always been stubborn, selfish, and uninterested in anyone else's feelings. On the other hand, he's always been honest when it comes to Rakugo. However, whatever his reason, I do not accept the proclamation he made that day. As I'm sure you know, being expelled by your master generally means Rakugoka's career is over. But there are people who have been expelled who have then been welcomed into another school to continue studying Rakugo. However, that's not supposed to happen. In fact, some of the people who were kicked out that day entered a different school and became Shinichi in the end." And Akane's like, "Then Dad could have..." It's like, "Yes, he had the option of continuing with Rakugo, but Shinta made his choice." And he thinks back to Shiguma telling Shinta, "No, it cannot be overturned. But I know there are many Rakugo masters who would beg you to join them. You have the option of continuing as a Rakugoka with another school." And he's like, "Please spare me these hurtful comments, sir. The relationship of master and apprentice is akin to parent and child. Before being a Rakugoka, I wish to be the apprentice of Shiguma Arakawa. I'm sorry that I was unable to live up to your standards." And Akane is like, "I don't get it. I wish he would have continued as Rakugoka even if it was somewhere else. At least that's what I would have said before I started training as your apprentice." She goes, "At least that's what I would have said before I started training as your apprentice. But now, I think I'm starting to understand how my dad felt. I'm glad I was able to hear this from you." It's like, "Plus, that does sound like my dad. I always knew that my dad really revered you. He once told me, 'I'm going to carry on Shiguma's art.' He had lots of books at home about you. I could tell how much you revered your Rakugo master. I get it. And that only makes me more determined. It's like, 'Master, I humbly request that you continue to offer me your guidance and leadership.'" And he goes, "You've got a long way to go to reach Shinichi." It's like, "That's fine. Bring it on." And you see the next day at school, what is Bully Boy's name? Jumbo. He's like, "Oh yeah, you won that Rakugo thing after all?" Takane's like, "That's your reaction? You can do better." It's like, "Oh, you won? Congrats!" It's like, and so on. And he's like, "Yeah, no. It's like, for one thing, I just assumed you were going to win." Takane's like, "Huh." It's like, "More than that. I was..." He's like, "I was more worried that you would snap at the old man after you won and cause some kind of scandal." He just imagines Akane just like punching Ishura right in the chest with a "Vengeance for my father!" Ugh! It's like, "Is that really what you think of me?" He's like, "The thing is, after what he did, it would serve him right." He's like, "Yeah, but that wouldn't solve anything. There's no point unless I use the art to convince him of his mistake." And he thinks back to how outspoken, like rambunctious Akane was as a kid. He's like, "Oh yeah?" He's like, "What are you laughing about?" It's like, "Nothing. It's just, you've definitely turned from a Rakugoka's daughter into a Rakugoka, that's all. It's like, I gotta go. You should visit the principal to announce your victory." It's like, "Yeah, I will. See you later." You see later a sign saying Judo Dojo. It's like, "You want to take part in a university practice? But the high school championships just ended, Ozaki." It's like, "Yes, I know." And then she thinks back to Akane saying, "Guess what? I won. It's like, I didn't get past the quarterfinals. But still, I don't want to come up short." The judo teacher's like, "Now that's the spirit. I'll go ahead and put in a word for you. Just make sure it doesn't take time out of studying for your exams." It's like, "Yes, coach. Thank you. I'll do my very best." And you see later, "Akane, we've been looking everywhere." And you see her friends being like, friends looking for her. It's like, Risa and Yuka? It's like, what's the matter? It's like, I'll tell you what's the matter. This, look at this. And they point to something on their phone. Oh, shit. Akane's like, huh? What the heck? And you see the monthly Rakugo Twitter account. Oh, nice. It has a little... has tweeted the genius teenage girl Rakugoka who impressed Isho Arakawa, the greatest Rakugoka of his generation, at the Karaku Cup Student Rakugo Competition. 255k views and is published by Monthly Rakugo. Alright. So again, transitionary chapters, so not much to say. I did love that we're getting like a little bit more explanation, like how Rakugoka works, like how the school system works, and like the idea that you could basically like move from one school to another if you got expelled to try and like continue your career. But I appreciate, not appreciate, but like the fact that, you know, Kane's kind of like, yeah, you know what, you could have done that, but, you know, and she kind of like thinking back to her experiences with like, you know, all the other disciples, like what they've taught and like what they've learned. And I like that there's the emphasis like, oh, you know, like you could move to a different school and things, but the people you meet, like the people you meet and experiences you have and share with them will shape you and your experiences and your art. And that's not really something you can kind of just copy or kind of like go to another place to kind of like recreate and rediscover. So I appreciate that there's an emphasis on like, you know, sometimes if you lose out on an opportunity or a chance, like, you know, there's not really much you can do about it. You kind of just have to like, you know, accept the fact that you lost and kind of move on. So I really do appreciate like that little touch of it. And I do appreciate how I was seeing like a little bit more of Akane's maturity, how she's like, you know, she's still feisty and she's still kind of like, you know, no, I'm going to prove those old assholes wrong. I was like, how many times do I have to teach you this lesson, old man? But I'm glad she's kind of like matured enough to like realize like, yeah, you know what? You know, despite like all the hatred and stuff I've carried with me, like I can't really there's no point like continually having this with me or carrying like all this negative emotion with me. Like it's not going to do me any good. I have to just kind of like, you know, get better and prove them wrong that way. So I'm looking forward to that. I also appreciate the fact that they are kind of embedding or like using social media in this as well, because again, it'll be interesting to see kind of like a story take into account like how social media would affect something like Rakugo, like how it would affect like, you know, being able to get audiences to performance, like boost the not the views, God, sorry, my words are just like slipping from me. Yeah, but boost the views base, like make it more well-known, well-rounded. So it'll be interesting to see like how that gets taken into effect, like how that plays out. Especially with Akane kind of getting famous, because that's absolutely going to ruffle some feathers, especially among her competition. So I'm looking forward to where that's going. So like I mentioned at the start, I'm going to get caught up with Akane this week sometime. I'm going to try to do about 5 chapters a day or so. I feel like that should get me caught up by the time I have to go back. Then hopefully by next week I will be doing this full time. As always, if you like my content, please do like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I would really appreciate it because the algorithm rewards pushing buttons. And until next time, this is Ash. Talk to you all later.